You know, this type of shit really do not surprise me. But at the same time, it infuriates me. It really infuriates me. Michael Vick, who y'all know from out of Virginia Tech, from out of Virginia Beach, Virginia, who was the starting quarterback back in the days for the Atlanta Falcons. He the reason why, you know, the Georgia Dome was packed up and all that stuff like that. He got caught up in the dog handling thing. Did a year or whatever in prison. And, you know, back then during the time, you know, he was one of the highest paid athletes out there during this time with the Atlanta Falcons. 130-something million, you know. Wore the number 7. 7 is numerical, symbolic. Cornrows, everything, so on like that. That was Mike Vick of then. You know, he went from a Falcon to an Eagle to back up to the rapist Ben Roethlisberger for the Steelers. Now, let's go current. Michael Vick has now been the latest recipient of a Butterball biscuit. I know Butterball mean turkey, Butterball turkey, but might as well be a Butterball biscuit. Let's just call it like that, a Butterball biscuit. You know, as he's the latest to go ahead and throw major shade at Colin Kaepernick. And I think I know the reason why. It's not the fact of the matter out of jealousy. It could be that subconsciously. I don't know. But, you know, a lot of things will reveal themselves. But it's the fact of the matter that he is the latest catalyst that the machine known as the NFL, the Neanderthal Fools League, to try to keep Colin Kaepernick from being employed by the NFL or landing a job. This step-it, fetch-it fool had the nerve to sit up on here on FS1, speak for yourself. We all know who occupies that. Calling the Klansman coward, the human manatee, Jason Whitlock, the other coon, Ray Lewis, along with Eric Davis, and I don't know if Chris Broussard is over there too, but he stopped by over there and had the nerve to say on there that what Kaepernick need to do is to lose the afro. Lose his afro? Now tell me something. What the hell does Kaepernick's afro has to do with his playing ability? Would Michael Vick say that same thing to Randy Moss when Moss was playing? Randy Moss sported an afro. I seen every other white person out there during the days in Minnesota wearing a freaking fro wig. The Mod Squad, that's what they called it. But see, this is the thing I can't stand with niggas like this. I'm just gonna go thorough on. I'm going in on this tonight. Fuck that. I'm going on this tonight. As he could have easily went to Kaepernick if he wanted to and talk to him about that privately. Nah. Typical step-it, fetch-it Negro goes out there and basically trashes him in the presence of mixed company. The article, the reason I got wind of it is about one of my friends who is friends with me over on the Black Spot. Yes, the Black Spot is still popping and stuff. Fuck a Fed book. You know, that's where I be doing most of my stuff at over there anyway. Black Spot and Black Junction. You know. The article came over on right here, MSN Sports. It was by the Sport News, by the way. Let me just go ahead and get into it. Let me just read right here to y'all. His advice to Colin Kaepernick, and he just put it in bold letters: get a haircut. He said, if Colin Kaepernick wants another chance in the NFL, the free agent quarterback should start by ditching his afro hairstyle and getting a haircut. That was the surprising advice Kaepernick received Monday from former NFL quarterback Michael Vick. Last week it was Joe Montana. Now it's Michael Vick. What the fuck is going on? You know, this is what he said on Fox Sports FS1 Speak for Yourself. First thing we got I'm gonna just play the video and I'm gonna just show you what I'm talking about, because this is some bullshit.
Mike, you went through a situation where, for lack of a better word, toxic, coming out of prison, a lot of controversy around you because of the dogfighting deal. Tony Dungy wrapped his arms around you and helped get you back into the NFL. That's what I want to see from Colin Kaepernick, a football person, him get involved with, and I think he needs to actually talk and put his name on what he feels about the NFL and wanting to play. I think he needs to speak for himself.
I think he really does. The first thing we got to get Colin to do is cut his hair. I mean, listen, I'm not up here to try to be politically correct, but even if he puts cornrows in it, I don't think he should represent himself, in that way, in terms of, just the hairstyle. Just go clean cut. Why not? You're already dealing with a lot of controversy surrounding this issue.
That's a fascinating thing to hear you say, Mike.
That he needs to do is, just try to be presentable. I mean, look, so all the social media stuff that he's doing, look, we get it, we understand it. It's time for, Colin to step up in a different way. And, I think primarily the reason why he's not signed to a team right now is because of the last 2 seasons and not being as productive as everybody,
Let me just ask you a question.
Which wasn't his fault.
I kind of chuckled when you said he had cut his hair, because I just thought you didn't like the hairstyle, but you're actually saying that it represents something.
Yeah, I just think perception and image is everything. And listen, it's not the Colin Kaepernick that we've known, since he entered the National Football League. And I'm just going off my personal experiences, but listen, I love the guy to death, but I want him to also succeed on and off the field, and this has to be a start for him.
We got Michael Vick here, who had a struggle getting back into the NFL. You had an image problem.
Yeah.
And you were a guy that wore cornrows, wore the gold chains, played the whole hip-hop
image. Had an afro at times, even during the tough times. It was something that people would whisper in my ear. This is the way you're being perceived. But that wasn't me as a person. I understand Colin, he's a great kid.
Yeah, he is.
He is a great kid. And the reason he's not playing it has nothing to do with, the national anthem. I think it's more solely on his play. But yeah, I mean, everything takes precedent, in terms of image, perception. You got to clean it up. You got to make sure you do it all right.
I can see people's heads exploding over social media right now. Michael Vick says Colin Kaepernick needs to cut. Thank you.
Always be honest.
And give the man the advice he needs to go back and get his money.
I would tell Colin if we were sitting face to face and he wanted some advice from me, or if he asked me what do I think. Those are the words that may come out of my mouth in a different sense.
What would you say to people? Oh, so he's got to sell out to get back in the NFL. He can't keep it real.
It's not about selling out. When you're good and you're playing great, then you're going to be wanted. People are going to want to, sign you. They're going to want to see you play. They want to see everything that you have to give. In regards to him just not being signed right now, it has to do with the production over the last couple of years, and I continue to say that.
People were whispering in your ear that you needed to change your appearance when you were, and you wouldn't hear them at that time?
I didn't listen until the end, until I was going through the turmoil and the hardships, and it was very difficult. And then I started to see what was most important, and that was cleaning up, changing my image, not just for public perception, but for the judge and what everything that I was about to get involved in. So it was a difficult process, and it was one that I didn't like, but it was one that I had to accept.
If you look at yourself now, you look at Michael Vick back when he came in, compared to what you've been through and where you are now, what would you say to that kid?
My decision making is different, and that's the part that I always wanted to work on in terms of bettering myself as a person. I knew at the end of the day I can go 23 hours out the day and make all the right decisions, and then in the last hour I can screw it up. And those are things that, you know, as a young guy, you don't get, you don't understand. And in reference to Zeke and his situation, I love the kid so much, and I appreciate what he do for the game of football. And I don't want to see him to continue to go through this. That's why I say he may need a life coach, somebody to be there on call to help him, you know, not have to go through these situations that's going to be detrimental to his career.
You know, my head is about to get ready to explode. You know, this here, you know, he definitely was reaching. He definitely went for the 3-point shot, and he scored him a buttermilk biscuit. Throughout that whole dialogue, although they cut it in parts, I was more interested. We already know Eric Davis and especially Jason Whitlock. We know they just coon. But I was more interested in hearing what Mark Schleff had to say. Mark Schleff, who happens to be a 3-time Super Bowl champion, the years with the Denver Broncos, or 2-time if I'm not mistaken. So, and even he, you seen how Mark looked back and he said like he didn't have a problem with Kaepernick's hair. Let me explain something to you, Mr. Michael Vick. You of all people, you played for the Atlanta Falcons. Let's focus on the city of Atlanta. Atlantis, which is still Hotlanta, which is still the black Mecca of the United States and of the South. Okay, during the 90s, you had everybody buying homes there, moving from there. Everybody from Too Short to Tupac Shakur to you name it, they're there. Also, it's the home of Outkast, Goody Mob, you know, Criss Cross, The Brat. I mean, Luda. You know, nowadays it's Migos. You know, the clubs be bumping. T.I. I forgot. Sorry, Tip. I forgot to mention you. My bad. You know, I'm in Miami. I'm 12 hours away from you, Mike. During your tenure at that time. And see, the reason why I'm bringing up Atlanta, because see, it's, you know, it's just like, oh, I see Charlemagne the God. I see he just popped up on there. He liked my tweet. Nice. I know that's probably gonna get mentioned on the Breakfast Club. But this here right here irritates me. You know, Noble Drew Ali has stated a long time ago that if we aren't careful, our own people will put us back in slavery. And that's exactly what Michael Vick doing. You should have seen how he's sitting up there. I'm just looking at the body language. I'm looking at the tone of the words he's using. It's like, you know, whatever happened to him when he was doing his prison time in Leavenworth for allegedly dog fighting, which wasn't him. He just had wrong type of people around in his circle that put him in those situations. Shoot, ex-D'Angelo Hall, he could tell you that. Because see, when he was with a Falcon, when he was an Atlanta Falcon, and you know a falcon is like a bird of prey. I'm going Kemet here for a second. You know, falcon is the highest flying, fastest flying bird of prey on Earth. The peregrine falcon. You know, falcon represents Heru. Heru is where the term hero comes from. I remember kids growing up wanting to be like Michael Vick. I seen kids down here buying Michael Vick jerseys. You couldn't find a Michael Vick jersey down here. which was the number 7. The same jersey number that Colin Kaepernick wore when he was at the 49ers and he took the Niners all the way to the Super Bowl in 2012. Okay? I mean, that 7 was symbolic. And then you in the city of Atlanta, Atlantis, the new Mecca. Where black people actually ran the city. And still do to this day. They still hold it down on the economic plane. In fact, the point I'm trying to say is like this. Michael Vick was to Atlanta is like what LeBron James is to Cleveland, the Northern Ohio. You know. But then when he got cut loose by the Falcons and got picked up by the Philadelphia Eagles, his spirit got broken. And then he was tamed. Gone was the cornrows, gone was the afro, and he now will sport what we call a low boy. Down here in Miami, we call them low boys. Cream cut. See, the afro happens to be symbolic, you know. Now, I know it's going to be some few trolls that's probably trying to chime in on this and stuff like that. You know them. They always want to see what black folks talking about. Afro is symbolic. That's spiritual right there. You know? It's the vibration we get, how we stay in tune to the universe. Now, back in the 90s, back in the day, I sported my Aaron Hall. I was known through some circles, still known through the circles of the Black Kojak. Before I let my hair grow out, and my afro was just as much as big as Colin Kaepernick's is now. Okay? I was in my early 30s. Let it grow out for about a couple months because my hair grew fast. Then I got it twisted up. Then got it sporting cornrows, sporting braids. In 2003, 2005, I let it lock up. But see, that afro represents a crown. It represents royalty. It represents Colin Kaepernick is a king. And he's standing firmly on his square. He's standing firmly for what he believes in. You know, what Michael Vick tried to do is basically psychologically try to cut off Colin Kaepernick's hair. Now, in biblical terms, Michael Vick tried to play Delilah to Colin Kaepernick's Samson. The strength is in his hair. He up there saying, oh man, you know, he lose the afro, he get a better chance into the stuff like that. No. Well, and see, here's another thing why I say Michael Vick talking about is full of shit, talking about saying perception is image, image is everything, or however hell he puts it. If he's so much concerned about image, then why don't he start putting out an image by like starting to pull his pants up? Yeah, it's kind of raining down here. You know, this the time of year, you know, we get the summer, so that's what you're hearing lightning out there for. Then why don't he get out there and try to tell that to some of these young boys who out here walking around here with the pants sagging under their behinds, showing their Fruit of the Looms. I'm pretty sure he doesn't do that because he's too busy, Michael Vick, up here trying to tap dance and coon so see he can get him another backup quarterback position with one of the 32 NFL ball clubs. I'm more pissed off about the fact of the matter that he didn't go to Colin Kaepernick directly more importantly, kept it between them in private. I'm pretty sure he got somebody in his camp who knows somebody in Colin's camp. He doing the same thing that Ray Lewis, Shaquille O'Neal, Eric Davis, and the rest of these other jokers, recipients and passengers on the coon train doing. Throwing your own kind under the bus in the presence of mixed company. And in this case, the mixed company happened to be Mark Schleff. Jason Whitlock, he's irrelevant too. He's been long gone. Ain't no hope for him. Shoot, ain't no hope for him for his psychology. There's no hope for him for his loss of weight. Sitting up there looking like Abdullah the Butcher. And then wearing a damn suit 3 sizes too small. Looking like a thirst stove Fat Albert. Hey, hey, hey! Michael Vick, I swear, you just got your buttermilk biscuit. I see you did all that for a buttermilk biscuit. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. This is why more the further reason this is like June 17th. Okay, we're coming up. August is coming up 2 weeks from now, which basically means preseason, NFL preseason is gonna start. My question is, I want to know tonight, which one of y'all little step-it, fetch-it Negroes that talking all that mess, some of these fake Kaepernick fans talking all that stuff, saying, oh, I ride with Kaepernick, man, I stand behind that brother 100%. I stand by it, I like him, what he doing, da-da-da-da-da-da. Which one of y'all niggas gonna be the first ones to turn on the TV come preseason? Whether it's gonna be Thursday through Sunday. That's usually when the preseason game starts. Gonna sit your ass right there in front of the damn TV. Talking about, oh no, it's football season now. Because like I said, I called it out before. If you ain't standing behind what this man did for us last year, and what he been doing for us and still continue to do that, he is still out here putting in work. Despite the fact he's being it's a concerted effort by Robert Kraft and his gang of billionaire thugs to keep this man from being employed. But instead of the fact they're too busy hiring mediocre to garbage quarterbacks who continually to rob these ball clubs of money. Last week it was Joe Montana. That trash Kaepernick. Now everybody supposed to think they're supposed to take Joe Montana's word because he's a Hall of Famer. Joe Montana's full of shit. You know, besides, he wasn't all that great anyway. It was the people around Joe Montana that made him great. You know, the other buttermilk biscuit recipient, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Brent Jones, Roger Craig, Tom Rathman, the entire O-line. They are continuing. Okay? Michael Vick, I mean, you just need to have your ass whooped several ways behind that. You know, and you see how, like with Jason Whitlock, how Whitlock fat ass just kept egging him on, and you went through the hardship through the same thing. You sported the whole thing, the cornrows, the gold chains, and all that. Wait a minute, what the hell that's supposed to mean? Let me bring up another individual case in point that also played for the Atlanta Falcons. That was a Falcon folklore legend. Deion Sanders. Fort Myers, born and bred. I got to stick behind my Florida boys, my Florida brothers. Straight out of Florida State. First round pick of the Atlanta Falcons, 1989. Deion stepped on the scene in the ATL. Shoot, he was as flashy as they come. Sported more gold than Birdman could ever dream of. Jerry curl like I don't know what. Jerry curl like I don't know what. Doing whatever he wanted to do, what he wanted to do. Now you know he's went from that to a few years later. Now you know what I'm saying, he's sporting the bald head like myself. But he's one of the few people that does still support Kaepernick. Because see, Deion Sanders, on some occasions, he did buck dance a little bit. But he didn't go full blown. I will give Primetime that credit. He's one of the few people that stand behind Colin Kaepernick to this day. He still say Colin Kaepernick is still the best quarterback free agent that's out there. And the reason nobody ain't signing him is because of the fact of the matter that he stood up for black people by taking a knee. And on top of that, to all these idiotic trolls and these patriots, they can go ahead and kick rocks, because the fact of the matter is, him taking a knee, meaning he wasn't doing nobody no harm. In case you idiots, normally the Neanderthals don't have a 5-ounce brain, so they can't never figure it out. He could have been praying. Did anybody ever thought about that? Did anybody ever thought about how the NFL made their little money, as well as the San Francisco 49ers franchise made their money off the TV networks, being in the fact of the matter that the 49ers were the most televised football team on TV last year, and they had the worst record. And they're not because of Colin Kaepernick, it's because of the talent, lack of personnel. Jim Harbaugh was gone. He went to Michigan. A few of the other staff was gone. Few major players gone. Michael Crabtree went to the Raiders. A few of the other guys gone elsewhere else. He didn't have the weapons to execute perfectly. But instead of y'all starting Kaepernick, they want to put a garbage quarterback by the name of Blaine Gabbert. Look like damn Grover from Sesame Street. But they want to go ahead and differentiate the fact that, oh, Colin Kaepernick not taking the knee is the reason why the 49ers went 1 and whatever. That's bullcrap, and you know it. Now, we done been through this like plenty of times. And the same thing to these old salty ass niggas who I know personally and who I used to communicate with via social media behind Colin Kaepernick, talking about saying he want this for attention. You know, one idiot for to stay up in Tennessee rooting for the New Orleans Aints. Okay, he can't stand Kaepernick. Never met the man, don't know the man, never see the man was about. But then again, he's dumber than a box of rocks anyway, so you know he don't count. But this right here, Michael Vick, he's the latest one. He seriously scored a touchdown, and he got his reward, the Butter Biscuit Championship, by going ahead telling Colin Kaepernick for him to get a better job. This time I'm saying you need to get a haircut. See, this is also another thing when it comes down to Caucasian terrorism. See, they feel us when they see like this, because they know that Afro represents masculinity. They know that Afro represents strength. They know that it represents elegance. It represents a crown. Getting it cut off or whatever like that, even at age, Colin Kaepernick's 29 years old, so he's still a young man. I say, Colin, go ahead and rock it. It's no different than it is with some of the brothers who I know personally who went out there and they went full beard gang. Because with men, us as men, that's like a status. It's a status symbol, a hierarchy symbol like that. Alpha male type status. Whether you grow on a goatee or even a clean face, you know, the alpha male thing, that's basically dealing with character and personality. But as symbolic as the Afro is, because the Afro represents the sun. and we are people of the sun. Afro represents antennas. Antennas, that means we staying in tune with nature. We stay in tune with the universe. Because, you know, when it comes down to this, I come exoteric. And see, when I see this type of junk, and I see jokers like Michael Vick, who around here being a bootlick, saying like, oh, well, you know, the best thing you need to go do is go get a haircut. Like I said, I just wish I had something I could throw at him. I don't know, maybe preferably a 5.5, 6x45, but not gonna do that. See, Michael Vick, you ain't fooling nobody. We know you trying to get you another backup quarterback gig, because you went from being a hooroo with the Falcons to start being nothing from a Falcon to a Tweety bird, per se. Because see, with an eagle, yes, eagle may be bigger than Falcon, but in most every NFL game beginning of the season, you always see them flying that damn eagle around, bald eagle around. They can tame them. And although, yes, the eagle is symbolic of Heru too, because that's a form of Falcon and all that, but they tamed him. They tamed Michael Vick. Michael Vick, I'm telling you. Because see, Colin Kaepernick, every day, he's evolving. He's beyond your comprehension, Michael Vick. While you, in turn, is going the exact opposite, and you're devolving. You want to go ahead and devolve and want to live into the world of white supremacy. You want to live into the world of a system of injustice, a system of basically you feel like you safe because you're going to go ahead and speak against somebody who's standing up for our people. To tell you the truth, I've never seen Michael Vick doing anything. Even during the times when he was at Atlanta Falcons. He was buying the fancy cars. He was probably going to the clubs. I know I got my connections. Don't worry about it. Same thing with another bootlick that's also from down here, well, mostly from Largo, Florida, not staying in Boca Raton with his little snow bunny. Ray Lewis, same thing. Ray Lewis played for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, if you know your stuff, when it comes down to nature, when it knows the study of ornithology, which is study of birds, and I could outdo an ornithologist any day. They can't tell me nothing. You know, some people probably sitting up here asking yourself, damn, Mr. O, what the hell do you know so much about birds and stuff like that? Well, it's been like that with me since I was 6 years old. Okay? Case in point, when I went to Jungle Island, I used to go there like every now and then. I see everybody there enjoying all the other animals, watching them, watching this, whatever. There was only one animal I came to see, and that was a great horned owl named Moonlight. I loved that bird ever since I was a kid. I could tell you everything. I knew more about the bird than the handler did, and he was even shocked. I even told him even about like how that owl has got the capabilities of going ahead and taking down a bald eagle, no pressure. Supreme hunter of the night. Only animal in the world that even eats skunks. There's a reason why they call them winged tigers. You know, the owl represents, that's also symbolic of protection, and it also represents the night. But never mind about that though. But with Ray Lewis, when he played with the Ravens is also a bird of symbology too. Ravens about the size of a falcon or a hawk, or a seahawk or an eagle, almost. But they're carrion eaters, and that's how I look at Ray Lewis. He's steadily trying to take shots at Kaepernick too by picking away at his bones. Michael Vick might as well just go ahead and join him in doing that too. See, it's a lot of symbolism going on with this. It's a, you know, both of the quarterbacks, both wore number 7, which is in numerology. That's number perfection. That's God's number. Okay, plain and simple. I mean, you can't get any more perfect than Colin Kaepernick. Not just in his physical prowess and his athletic ability, but the fact of the matter that he's got his head on straight and he's got common sense. Something this bootlick has all of a sudden failed to accomplish. Because what Michael Vick did after he got back in the league, after playing back with the Eagles, he played with the Jets too. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. With the Jets and then with the Steelers. Now, if he played with some other team I didn't know about before he retired, I mean, you leave it down in the comment section, let me know. But this right here really bust my chord though with Michael Vick. That was an all-in tactic to go ahead to try to further discredit Kaepernick by going on Fox Sports 1 and on a platform, Speak For Yourself, where 3/4 of those idiots that's on there are basically anti-Kaepernick. And did you hear that fool Whitlock talk about saying, oh, well, you know, people see like this, they gonna call you a sellout, they gonna call you this, they gonna call you that, they gonna call you every dirty name in the book. He is absolutely tripping, you know, like I say, they both tried to score on them. Michael Vick, you is forever. You went up there and you got your little buttermilk biscuit reward. Well, I hope that buttermilk, that butterball biscuit and that butterball turkey that you got will be well worth it. You know, he's trying to get him another position back into the NFL. That's all that is. He must be running out of that money. NFL pension must not be doing him too good. Saying like that, you know, I guess that wife he's married to as well is probably going ahead and spending all that money. You know, see, you could tell. Professor Truth said it himself. You could tell when you got a former football player that basically fall on hard times. They got to go ahead and do stuff like this. Remember that Popeyes commercial that Jerry Rice did, where he's wearing a football helmet with the mouthpiece with a rotating chicken leg? Michael Vick is doing the same thing, but it's more symbolic than anything else. It's more metaphysical than that. But the thing about it though, look here. When it comes to cooning, there's no retirement plan, there's no pension plan. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is about as low as anybody can get. Now give it another week. I'll say by next week, you're going to have another former or current NFL player that's going to get out here and trash Colin Kaepernick. This is why I say this is why it's imperative, especially to the B1 Brigade, especially to all of us, that while black people, we need to boycott the NFL. No, I don't say boycott. Man-cott the NFL. Don't watch none of that shit. Do not buy no season tickets. Do not buy no NFL gear. Don't even watch no Monday Night Football. None of that. Until this man is signed. And this was the latest jab that the NFL tried to throw at Kaepernick to try to break him, that have him to submit, which he won't do. This is the best they can do. I'm totally disappointed in Michael Vick. Totally disappointed. I've been disappointed in him a long time ago anyway, and he became irrelevant to me. And this proves right here how he is still irrelevant. He's trying to play nice. He wants to play go along to get along. Sort of like what Cam Newton was doing. And it backfired. Because when it comes down, you're dealing with the Caucasian terrorists. They don't like bootlicks. Vic, you best better start learning to understand that. Cooning ain't gonna save you, and it's definitely not gonna do it now.